What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the first video here on the Flux Gaming channel. So just a little intro. We're going to pretty much be posting a ton of different videos regarding COD Zombies, COD Multiplayer Campaign, Warzone, etc. But mostly going to be zombies focused right now because I'm just in love with zombies. And I'm currently doing a challenge where I'm trying to get around 50 on every COD Zombies map. And as you can see, all these games, every one of the maps that these games have to offer. But that challenge is going to take me a long time. But for this first video, we're going to be ranking all the COD zombie games that pretty much have zombies on them. So as you can see, all these games have zombies on them, and we're going to be ranking them today. And at a later date, after I've done this challenge or played all of the maps, I will do a map rankings because I still have I have not played every single zombies map there is. I played pretty much all the mainstream ones, Kino, Dreisendrach, Buried Origins, all those. I've played them all, but there's just so many I haven't experienced that are really good, and that's what I wanted to do. So let's get into the tier list. So starting out with Advanced Warfare. So this is definitely a very controversial game. For me, I really like this game. It was kind of like the peak of gaming for me. But as far as zombies, there's only really one good map, which is Outbreak. So I think for that, I'm going to have to give it E tier. I don't think, like with Burger Town, which is called, honestly, I forget the name of the actual name of the second map, but everybody called it Burger Town. But like the fact that there's like part of the map just locks down and you can't get around it, I think is like a really bad feature in zombies, because the whole premise is to be able to explore the whole map and use the whole map. But if you get like locked in one area or locked out of another, that kind of defeats the purpose. Now I know this isn't Treyarch, so it can't be perfect, and this is also, I believe it's the first game to have zombies that wasn't Treyarch, so they did so much right on the first map. Outbreak was so much fun, but then it just went downhill. I played the second map, but I never played the last two. I loved Outbreak, which basically the game didn't come with zombies. Zombies came with DLC 1, but I loved Outbreak. And this game for me is higher if we're talking overall multiplayer campaign. That's just for me, because this is where gaming was like at its best. But for zombies, I think E tier is definitely appropriate. Moving on to Black Ops 3, I don't think this is a surprise, S tier. I mean, I go through and look at every one of the maps. First off, you got Shadows of Evil. I mean, the Apothecon Servant is sick, the Apothecon Sword is sick, the Margwas are super cool. The whole just like feeling of Morgue City just is awesome. The map design, like, it was just like, this time of zombies was so good. And this is also when like Fortnite was out, so I wasn't able to like fully enjoy this game. I guess the beginning of Black Ops 3 Fortnite wasn't that prominent, but just like being blessed with all the good maps on BO2 to end it off and getting this map, it's top 4 map, and you can't argue that, but that's for another video. But then you also get the Giant released with this game, which is Der Riese, a very classic map, super nostalgic. And it played so well with the Gobblegums, and that's another awesome feature. The Gobblegum system was awesome. I mean, Perkaholic is sick. You got Alchem, one of like the best Gobblegums in the game. This game just did so much right to start. And then you have Dreisendrach, another just amazing map. Sometimes some people's favorite maps, definitely for me top 3. You got the bows. The bows are just like even better. You got like, you look at these two maps and you look at Origins. You have like the generator systems. Pretty much Shadows of Evil did that with the rituals, and also the bows are just like the staffs in Dreisendrach. Then you have Mob of the Dead with the Afterlife system. You have that in Shadows of Evil with the Beast Mode, which I think is better because you don't have to like revive yourself, and you can still get quick revive, because I thought the Afterlife system with that wasn't my favorite, but Shadows of Evil did it perfectly. This game is just so sick. And then you have Zetsubou no Shima, a super slept on map. I love that map. The Skull is overpowered, probably in my opinion one of the best, if not the best specialist in that game. I mean, you got the KT4, which is sick. Like every map in this game, you got Gord Crovey too. The shield in that game is sick. You got the Mark IIIs, you got the dragon, you got I mean, even the Easter eggs, like the cutscenes are so sick. Killing all of the 1.0 versions of all the characters is just so awesome. Like this game is the peak. I don't think we're gonna ever see zombies this good. I hate to say that, but I just think that's the truth. But I think I'm going to be done with that game. Not even to mention you got Chronicles, which literally, like, Black Ops 3 was already the best zombies game before Chronicles, but that just topped it. And also Revelations, like, I think Revelations is the worst map of that game just because it's not very creative. I mean, the entirety of the map pretty much is comprised of older maps, which maybe helps lead to Chronicles, and if that's why they released that, I'm super happy. But it's still a fun map, like, you can't argue that. So, enough about Black Ops 3. Let's move on to this next COD, Black Ops 1, which also for me is an S tier COD. A lot of people don't. I think Black Ops 1 gets so slept on. Some people put Black Ops 1 in like 5 or 6 for zombie games, which I think is just sad. It's the second best game. And it mostly has to do with just the consistency the game has. Every one of the maps, you start out with Kino. Kino was supposed to be in World at War, but they decided to push it back to BO1, and I'm fine with that because that, as a starting map, was sick. I mean, it's so much fun. The Thunder Gun is awesome. The teleport system for Pack is awesome. The perks are on the map. The whole feeling of the theater is just awesome. And to pair that, you also get 5. 5 is such a slept on map. When I say slept on, people are putting this map, it's top 10, I think, in my opinion. And I think, like, it just gets shit on. Like, it's such a good map. There's so many good things about it that, like, you know, I don't think the Winter's Howl was good, but, like, this being in the White House, having, you know, Fidel Castro, JFK, it's just such a cool environment. I like the bonfire sales, you know, it's just the whole atmosphere of this game is awesome. And then you also have Shangri-La, Moon, Call of the Dead. Like, there's just so many good things this map has to offer, and I think everybody sleeps on it. Like, I mean, you also have the World at War maps are in there and stuff like that, but this game definitely gets slept on, and for me, is the second best game, S tier as well. Moving on to Vanguard. So, F tier. I think this is the worst game there is. Now, we are getting a, I don't know when you're watching this, but a round-based map, which is Shinonuma Reimagined, essentially, is coming out Season 4, which I believe is like 30 to 40 days from when this video is probably coming out. So, but so far, Terra Maledicta and, honestly, I forget the name of the first one, Darren Fong, they're just, it's like Outbreak, but worse. I'm not gonna lie, Outbreak is a ton of fun. Definitely would have much rather Cold War going in a different direction, but we're gonna touch on Cold War later. But, like, there's nothing good that this game did. There just really isn't so far. Now, potentially, if the Shinonuma is sick, maybe it could be a C. But I right now, off of what I've seen, it's just not fun. It doesn't feel like the fact that you release a game with zombies or call it zombies and you give us this is just sad. Because you look at Black Ops 1, you look at Black Ops 3, they actually had so much good to offer, and you expect people to want to play this little crappy mode you call zombies? It's just unacceptable in my opinion. And especially because Treyarch is in charge of zombies in Vanguard. It's sad, but I guess you don't really play Vanguard for zombies, you play Black Ops 3 for zombies, but enough on that game. So let's go to Black Ops 4. This game is super controversial because it came after Black Ops 3. I will say, 9, definitely a top 10 map, so much fun, but other than that, the remakes of Nuketown being Alpha Omega and Call of the Dead being Togner Toten, they aren't good. But I still think as a Treyarch Zombies game, I have to give it C. The mechanics aren't the best, but 9 just being that good of a map, 9 is significantly better than Advanced Warfare's Outbreak. You have to admit that. And I just think it is probably one of the worst Treyarch Zombies games, but I think overall it's still pretty solid. I think it is slept on a lot. I think because people had such high expectations from Black Ops 3, they just completely dismantled this game. I will say Voyage is awful, Blood of the Dead is awful. Like, I don't see a reason to play those maps, but having 9 on there and still just it being like Treyarch Zombies, I think it still is decently enjoyable. I mean, for me going back and just playing it, I can have some fun, but I don't think it can be any higher. It's not even close on the level of Black Ops 3 or Black Ops 1, but I think C tier, perfect spot for it. Next up is Infinite Warfare. So, this map obviously has Spaceland, just like Advanced Warfare has one good map, and I guess you could say Black Ops 4. I do think Spaceland is a little bit better than Black Ops 4, but I can't justify it any higher, I don't think. So I'm gonna go C tier, a little bit ahead of Black Ops 4. Just because I think Spaceland is better, and The rest of the maps are pretty bad, but I think like the perk system is pretty similar, and I just think overall how good Spaceland is, and it being better than 9, I think C is appropriate. I haven't really played this game. I played Spaceland once, and that's pretty much it. And I just realized that Black Ops 2 isn't even on this list, so we're gonna need to do that at the end. Next up, World at War. First game ever, has 4 maps: Nocturne Toten, Verrückt, Shi No Numa, and Reese. And off of just what, I'm gonna go B, just off of knowing what it did for zombies. Obviously you can't really expect much out of Noct. You can't compare Noct to Der Eisendrache or Shadows of Evil. But I think overall, consistency-wise, and at the time, this game was awesome. And it still is. So, you know, off of the variables you have, you can't compare like this old computer to like a modern-day computer. That's just not fair. But for its time and for what it did for Call of Duty, I think B tier is appropriate. Nocturne Toten is so much fun. I mean, going back and playing this game is just a ton of fun. I mean, you can get to stupidly high rounds. I mean, what, 10,000 was achieved on Shi No Numa. I don't even know, 8,000 some on Verrückt, and I don't know Noct, but I know Reese was the first map to have more than 24 zombies per map. And that map still, like, people play that game significantly more than the 4 below it. So that's why I think B tier is appropriate. Up next, we have Call of Duty World War II. Again, fits the theme of the bottom 3, or the Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare, and Black Ops 4. It has one good map, being the Final Reich. Now, a lot of people put this above Exos. I don't believe that, so I think I'm going to put it at E tier, right below Advanced Warfare. I think just having the jetpack system is a little more fun. The Final Reich has a pretty cool wonder weapon, but I just think out of like variability and stuff like that, I know overall probably World War II is about the same as Advanced Warfare, but I think just Advanced Warfare having one really good map, and if I had to choose between the two games, I'd pick Advanced Warfare 4 Outbreak over the Final Reich. But again, you know, this was Sledgehammer's second attempt at zombies, and I don't understand how you start off with a great map and it just goes downhill. I don't know if they put out this map and it's good and they just try too hard to make the next one better that they just make it worse. And I think the simplicity of like World at War, really, I love that. And same thing kind of with Black Ops 1, but then you look at Black Ops 3 and it is a lot more complex with shields and buildables, but that's what you want. You have to do either the simplicity right or the complex correct. And none of those 4 games that are in the C or E tier did that. But we still need to do Black Ops 2. So, Black Ops 2 for me, A tier. It has 2, again, top 4 maps, being Mob of the Dead and Origins. And for me, my top 4 will always be Origins, Mob of the Dead, Shadows of Evil, and Der Eisendrache in no particular order, because depending on what mood I'm in or what I'm feeling, one can be at the top. Shadows has been at the top, Der Eisendrache has been at the top, Origins has been at the top, and so has Mob of the Dead. I think I've had the most fun on Mob of the Dead out of the 4, but I love all 4 maps so much that I can't really say one is the best. But the reason why I give it A tier, as good as those 2 maps are, you have Transit, which is arguably the worst map of all time, and that's only if you include Farm and Bus Depot, because they're sub-transit maps, which are worse than it because they don't have perks. Bus Depot has no perks or pack, and Farm has no pack a bunch. But the fact that it pretty much is the worst map of all time is why it's A. And then you also have Diarize, another horrible map. I mean, I think like verticality and zombies could work, but that map just butchered it. But again, after that, you've got Buried, Origins, and Mob of the Dead, 3 awesome maps. Buried's a lot slept on, but I just think due to those 2 maps being so poor, I have to put it in A, and I have to put it as the 3rd best game. But that's going to be it for this tier list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like I said, I'm going to be trying to post once a week or so. I am getting, school's coming to the end here, but I'm going to start working and have a lot to do. I'm traveling a lot, so I'm going to try to stay consistent, but I'm going to try to post as much as I can. But anyways, I'm going to end it here. Hope you guys did enjoy this tier list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.